Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Blank, a movie about a writer that lives in the not too distant future and goes on a retreat to finish her book, but is faced with blank pages, a robot that has maybe malfunctioned, and a house that won't let her leave. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 8. I am going on a book signing today at 6 p.m. in Millville, New Jersey, at Bogart's Books and Cafe. Stop on by if you're in the area. Which is why I'm trying to get my videos up now. I think my other 2 videos will probably be late today. So stop on by and say hi. I'll have book 8 of the Pineys and some of my other things. So hope to see you there. Now, Blank is the name of this trailer. The movie, this is the robot. And it's kind of interesting because, I mean, to me it's more interesting because she's a writer. The main character's a writer. She has a hologram assistant and a robot assistant, which is kind of futuristic. You know, she's got to go on this retreat and write a book, and the house is all automated. But she's having problems writing the book. And she's got some past trauma that I guess she hasn't dealt with, involving her mother. And she gets trapped in the house, and then there's a malfunction with the robot, the house. She can look across the street, I guess, and see people trapped in other buildings, can't get out. Or is it she who can't get out? I don't know. It gets a little surreal as the robot seems to shout things at her that her mother shouted at her. And Blank, I assume, refers to the pages on her manuscript that are unfinished. There's the robot, probably after she punched her or hit her with a chair or something. Here's the mother yelling at her in the past, and here's the robot doing the same thing. Not sure why that would happen. The robot at one point reads her manuscript, which is, I find that interesting. Again, I'm pretty biased for this movie because I'm a writer, so it'd be interesting for me to see how the movie makers deal with a robot or android reading a manuscript and then giving her feedback. Like, what would that be like? Does the robot actually have an opinion in that area? And why is she still using a typewriter? Well, she's the old-fashioned kind of writer who does all this stuff. And she goes for a jog, apparently. I mean, it looks like it could be cool. It's a low-budget thing, trapped in a house. There's only looks like 3 or 4 cast members. I like the effects. I like the premise. First act, she comes to the house. It's isolated. It's crazily futuristic. Maybe not too future. Here she's got cigarettes too. She's a classic. She's got cigarettes. She's got wine. She's got an old-fashioned typewriter. I mean, could there be any more tropes in this? You know, and she's got to get a book done for her publisher. These are funny to me because I don't think they treat writers like this anymore. You know, like, not even Stephen King, I don't think, gets this kind of treatment. Stephen King's kind of his own deal, but I don't think a lot of writers get this treatment. They don't get paid enough to go on a retreat, you know, to go write. No. I mean, look at, there was a video just recently, I think last night I watched it, on George R.R. Martin. Yeah, it was Neurotic, talking about how George R.R. Martin still hasn't finished the sequel to Game of Thrones, the book, you know, that the TV show had to, like, kind of finish for him. And I think I know why. I think he's uninspired. And he said in an interview, yeah, it's no fun writing the book now that I know how it ends. I can feel that. I really can. But Neurotic points is he owes us a book. And he does. And it's a shame because he's got all these plot points that haven't been settled, and the TV show didn't really settle him either. So he really should finish the book. But if George R.R. Martin can't get this going, you know, even after, as Neurotic points out, he was locked up for like a year. He isolated himself over a year for COVID, basically, which judging by his size and age, that was probably a good move. Um, yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm no different. If I had the success of George R. R. Martin, it would be really hard for me to get anything done. I barely get any stuff done now. If I had like women throwing themselves at me and money out the wazoo, I mean, I might lose my damn mind. So maybe it's good I'm poor. Anyhow, sorry for that rant, but this looks cool. I'm into it. I mean, first act, she goes to the house. Second act, things get a little weird. She struggles with the book. She's dealing with the robot, and the robot's a little odd. The robot looks at her manuscript. Slowly, the robot gets weirder and weirder, pries into her personal life, and eventually she starts dealing with trauma. And I don't know the ending of this. It could go a bunch of different ways. One ending could be the robot becomes sort of human and sacrifices itself to save her. Like takes in her trauma and then kills herself because the robot for some reason is in the bath. So it could be kind of a low-key thing like that because this appears to be a low-budget affair. It could be that she has to kill the robot, which would be the most Hollywoody ending. It's her versus the robot. She's trapped in the house and she has to kill it in order to survive. And the house is against her and everybody's against her, and she kills the robot and survives, and then she finally has an ending for her book. That would be the most sort of trite way of ending it. The more interesting way would be that her and the robot have some kind of mental back and forth, and in that process the malfunctioning robot kind of understands what it's to be human, and then in the end either kills itself or destroys itself to save her, and then she learns from that and is able to finish her book, maybe, or maybe she never finishes it. Maybe she says, no, I'm done. Because it's about endings too. There's a theme here about endings. Her typewriter just keeps writing the end, the end, the end. I think the typewriter, even though it looks old-fashioned, is actually computerized. Because this is the not too distant future where that would be a thing, right? It's so futuristic, like your typewriter is a computer, right? It looks like an old-fashioned typewriter, but it actually can instantly erase words that you need erased and types perfectly every single time, but it has the feel of an old-timey typewriter, which I would love. Although I wouldn't choose that typewriter. I would choose the IBM Selectric, and if you haven't experienced the absolute joy of pounding the keys on IBM Selectric, you're missing out. But that's just a writer thing. So would I see this movie? Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I think it's mildly intriguing. Is it going to be good? Well, I'm a little biased towards it. It may be good. It could be a total, I don't know. It could just kind of end. Or it could have the sort of trite ending I outlined, or it could just be bad. I don't know. But I do like the elements. I find it intriguing. I probably would see this movie. Not sure where it's going to end up. Not sure when it's coming out. It's coming out this year. I would expect within 2 months, probably video on demand. Probably end up on Netflix or one of the streaming services. I would totally watch it. Maybe I will. I'll review it if I can find it. If I remember it. So many movies, so little time. And on that note, I'm going to end it here. Please come out to my signing at Bogart's Bookstore in Millville, New Jersey. If you're in the area, I'll have the Pineys, and we'll see you in the next one.